Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna give it a little time before I get to going, man. Y'all already know if y'all just tuning in for the first time. I'm Boi Dru, the Charm God. You're tuned into the Charm Hour Live. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. When you hit the like button, YouTube recommends the channel for those of us that want to be a part of this conversation that I'm having. For all the conversations that I have here on this channel, we have uncomfortable, controversial conversations. We cover so many different things. Most of the time, we're covering relationships and the gender dynamics between men and women. Oh, got a little crumb right there. Between men and women, but everybody can come here. Everybody can tune in and listen to what I'm saying. But I must say that most of the content is aimed and catered to the black community because that is the community that needs help the most in so many different areas. But you can tune in because you know I do talk a lot about masculinity and manhood, and we want all men to join in on this channel. Blue collar brothers, the average man. I represent the average man. So we want again, everybody is entitled to be here. Average women are entitled to be here too. But I don't step and fetch. I say how I really feel. We have real discussion. I stand on my 10 about things. So again, that's just kind of the channel in itself. It takes me usually about 10 to 15 minutes, 20 minutes to warm up, heat up. A lot of times I got to make sure that the trolls are out of the building. Shout out to the mods who come in. Got a great mod crew. Again, when you hit that like button, you hit that subscribe button, you become a charmer. And man, we are building a great community here. I'm happy for everybody that comes through, everybody that watches, everybody that hit the like button. I appreciate it. Everybody that hits the subscribe button, I appreciate it. Also, throw 50K in the chat. You know, by now, many of you know what the 50K represents, and 50K is, of course, the campaign we have this year to get 50,000 subscribers, which we will achieve. So when you stop on through and you comment, first thing you do is just throw 50K in the chat representative of that. We are going to have a very good conversation on this live. We are going to cover something that I feel like can be uncomfortable. We're going to cover professionalism. We're going to cover some politics for sure. That's typically what I love to talk about more than anything. More than the relationship dynamic between men and women, I love talking politics. I think politics are very important. So today's episode, as we're going to cover professionalism, we're definitely going to cover some politics. But again, if you're just getting in for the first time, go ahead, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, throw 50K in the chat, man. Oh man, for anybody who has not seen the Jasmine Crockett and the Nancy Mace video, I would very much say go look at it. It's here on YouTube. You can search it up and see exactly what the spat was about. But I would implore you to go out there and look at that video. And if you hadn't seen it, I'm gonna catch up a little bit. Nancy Mace and of course Jasmine Crockett are U.S. representatives. They had an issue that they were handling and discussing on that floor, and they got into it. They got into a little spat. They got into a little spat. Here's something that I find interesting about Jasmine Crockett. Every time that I see Jasmine Crockett, I don't really know exactly what she does. I don't know exactly. I mean, I know she's a U.S. representative. Look, they're all politicians. They all can be a little fugazi. But what I'm saying is, most of the time, I'm seeing her talk in a sister girl, ain't your mama way. I'm just being honest. Most of the time, I see her in the ain't your mama way, sister girl commentary. I don't really know exactly what she is doing as far as what she's done in her district. I don't know what she's done in her district. She could be doing a lot of great things, and I plan to look up more about her activities as a politician. But for the most part, especially when it comes about criticism towards the Republican Party, Donald Trump, whatever the case, like many Democrats, I typically see her being loud and talking in a loud manner. That's mainly what I see of Jasmine Crockett. I've said some things about Jasmine Crockett before, but the thing that I can't get past with Jasmine Crockett is more than anything is the persona. Whatever her persona is, it is very hard for me to get past the loudness of her speech. And it just derails anything that I think about her because that's all that I get from her. When I see Jasmine Crockett, to me, again, when I'm hearing her talk, represents everything that I think black women don't want to be represented about them. And the crazy part is, too, I made this commentary on TikTok because I put up, look, some things I put on YouTube may not go well for the shorts for whatever reason, but on TikTok it'll go crazy. So I put this commentary up on Jasmine Crockett, and I mean on TikTok it's going bananas. So many comments, you know what I'm saying? It got over 10,000 views, whatever. Damn near 1,000 comments and a lot of defense towards Jasmine Crockett, and of course towards me, a lot of insulting, because that's what people gonna do. They're gonna insult, especially our women. When you're critiquing our women, they're gonna get in the comment section. They're gonna critique you. They're gonna insult you. They're gonna say, oh, they're gonna try to shame you. They're gonna call you stepping fetch and all of that. But I think my question to her was very simple: is why when I hear Jasmine Crockett speak about anything, I gotta hear, ooh, girl, sister, child, and all of that, child. Like, why are you're a congresswoman talking like this? You're a congresswoman talking like, before I even get into what you're discussing, before I can even get into what your issues may be, you are a congresswoman sitting up here talking like that. Everything, with all this weave in your head. I don't find it acceptable. I've never found that to be acceptable. What is crazy is how we have taken what is something that is just jargon on the street, commentary on the street, attitude on the street, and we think that that's professional. How is that professional? At all. How is that seen as being professional as this woman sits up here, uh, you know, in Congress and you act and behave that way? Then this is like the second time that I've heard her talking about civil rights. Let me also say this. She said something else that to me is just ridiculous. She feels, and this is out of her own mouth, that we are living in a time that is like the turbulent 60s. So she feels that the racial climate now and infringement on civil rights now, she feels as though that this is representative of the 60s, the 1960s. How do you believe it? Listen, I really hate the yearning that the Democrats have on wanting to be so close to the civil rights era that they will make up things. There's nothing happening in today's climate that resembles anything like the turbulent 60s. As she gets up there and begins to talk about civil rights, now, Nancy Mace fires back, and she's right because a lot of the civil rights commentary that these people have include all sorts of things. It's not what the civil rights movement was intended for. And hey, whether you like this or not, the civil rights movement was intended for black people. The reason why it was intended for black people because they were the subjugated group. They were the subjugated group. Civil rights should not include a man that doesn't understand and he's a woman or not. Nancy Mace really stood her ground and said some awesome things and had a great point. But at the end of the day, it even shocks me even further how Jasmine Crockett can sit up here and say that we are living in a racial climate right now that somehow reflects the turbulent 60s. And again, y'all, if y'all just tuning in, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that like button because we would like for YouTube to recommend this channel. You know, this is adult commentary. It's not made for kids, so it's just not gonna go out on the waves like that. We want you to like this, comment, put 50K in the chat because again, we would like for YouTube to recommend this uncomfortable, controversial conversation. Okay? Man, listen to the message. We ain't got time for that. We got moments where we talk about the Lord, we talk about God. Yes, I am a Christian. Y'all go ahead and hit that like button though, because again, we want YouTube to recommend our conversation and have everybody join in with us. But yeah, Jasmine Crockett again, going back to her. I just do not feel as though she's aligned correctly. I heard another chick one time in Houston, a lady by the name of Jolanda Jones. This was around the time when I want to say, oh man, one of the Trayvon Martin. When Trayvon Martin was taken out by that clown. The first thing, we had a march. This was during my active days, and we had a march here in the city. Went down to City Hall, and something she said that just kind of drove me a little wild. This lady said this. This is in Houston around the Trayvon Martin. This was right after he was slain. And she said this. She said she always wanted to know. Listen to this. She always wanted to know what it was like to march during the civil rights era. And when the Trayvon Martin murder happened, we marched. That made her feel like she was marching during that time. So instead of wanting progression, instead of wanting to progress from a time where we didn't have many rights at all, or we were prevented from being able to be, to rightfully have our constitutional rights. You want to relive that because of everything that you saw on TV. You wanted to relive that through the police slaying, or well, really that wasn't even a police killing. That was just a neighborhood watch guy. But whatever the case may be, we turned that into a racial situation, and that's what's been happening for the longest, whether we want to know it or not. There's been a lot of race baiting. But I just couldn't believe that. I'm like, okay, so you want to relive the civil rights era? You would like to go back during the time where they were taking a billy club to our head for trying to go eat and sit down in general public places with white people? So we've gotten through that time. We've elevated past that time, and you would like to go back and see what that's like? That's what you're telling me? This is nothing. The reason why the race baiting conversation comes up, because I need everybody to understand. Yes, we understand that the civil rights movement happened. We understand that there's so many issues that were not discussed. We understand that we were redlined. We understand that we were locked out of communities. This happened. This is a fact. All these things happened. But through the fight, through the struggle, through obtaining things that would help elevate us into the future, which we yet to have really taken advantage of, we have moved past the turbulent 60s. There is nothing, I mean absolutely nothing holding us back. There's nothing holding us back. This is nothing like the 60s. There's nothing going on in the country right now. I don't care how anybody tells you how they feel. There's nothing going on right now that represents the turbulent 60s at all. We are living in some of the most peaceful times. I just talked about that on the Greatest American Alive today. And Greatest American Alive said it. And I even asked him, like, do you really think we're living in the most peaceful time right now? But we really are, at least in this country. You have access to clean water. You can get up out of your bed. And scratch 2 pennies together and go get you a jumbo jack from Jack in the Box. You can get out of your bed right now. You can get bored and just hop on your phone and look at someone like me, have a conversation with you. You can do that in today's society. You can wake up and say, hey, I want to go walk my dog. But before I do that, I'm going to hit the corner store, go get me some clean water. You practically, as a black person, as long as you're not in a sundown town, you can pretty much go to any establishment you want to go to. You can go to any establishment you want to go to right now without the fear of somebody putting a billy club to your head and getting what you want. Right now. How are you not living in some of the most free times? How is anything that's going on right now representative of the turbulent 60s at all? How? How is it possible? So when Jasmine Crockett gets up there, and a lot of Democrats tend to do this, a lot of man, no, you can't get a shout out. You need to listen to the message. You trying to troll? I'm put you in timeout. Don't come in here trolling. Instead of trolling, just hit the like button. Pay attention and listen. Don't come in and troll. Just hit the like button. It's that simple. And get the message. Don't come in here being silly or disrespectful. Now you can't get no shout outs. You can get this word. That's what you can get right now. You can get this word. Hit the like button. Appreciate you. Appreciate them likes. In fact, and for everybody else just tuning in, go ahead and hit the like button because we want YouTube to recommend this channel and recommend this conversation right now that we are having. I feel that it is very important. It is an uncomfortable, controversial conversation, but that's where we grow. But there's nothing going on like the 60s right now. You had people like Bull Connor. I think Bull Connor was in what? Alabama. He might have been in Alabama, and he had a tank, would actually drive a tank in the streets. And, they were turning water hoses, powerful water hoses on people, knocking them down the street, sicking dogs on them. We don't have that going on right now. See, here's I have all sorts of problems. Let me go back to professionalism, and then let me explain to you how the black woman's voice is used to mislead people in the Democratic Party. Because honestly, that's the only group that you hear talking. Where are the black men in the Democratic Party? Where are strong, stiff black men in the Democratic Party that have a stance? Where are they? Where are they? When we look around, where are they? They don't exist. You don't see them nowhere. The only thing that you got going on in the Democratic Party right now, for the most part, appreciate that, Hayes. Go ahead and hit that like button from me. Go ahead and hit that like button for me. I appreciate that. And see, I get into why white women join up with that. But if you really white women kind of sell a dream. They really don't agree with that. And how do we know they don't agree with that? Because when we look at the statistics on who they voted for, when you look at Donald Trump, over 50% of white women voted for Donald Trump. Why? If you look at somebody like Nancy Mace, who even is talking about, what her feelings are with women's rights, you either got white women doing it or somebody like Candace Owens that they saying is white aligned. All black women have sold out to talk about the democratic issues to everyone, and it's harmful to everybody. But they'll use the black woman's voice because they are the loudest, they speak the loudest, and they become mascots for things. Because everybody listens to black women. We love the character that black women portray. It is very entertaining. So when you have somebody like a Jasmine Crockett up there, ooh, child, honey, please, how is that not blackface? See, it's a lot of shit that gets said online without no real understanding. While people will get up here and say that I'm a step and fetch type of dude, but y'all really don't understand what blackface is. Blackface was a superimposed vision of what black people acted and looked like. So when you got the blackface and the red lip and all that right there, all that buffoonery, that's really how the world saw us because that's how it was portrayed. We're supposed to go against that. We don't do nothing to go against what anybody thinks about us at all. We don't go against that at all. So when we think about blackface, we think about just people putting on blackface that's not black. But blackface to me is also behavior. So when you getting up there, you mean to tell me you went to college and got a bachelor's degree. You went to law school and got your JD, right? So you mean to tell me when you were turning in assignments, ooh, child, ooh, Professor Lord, that's how you was talking? I'm telling you, I can tell what bothers us the most by what we react to. Now on TikTok, same thing here. On TikTok, I'll post all kind of stuff. I'll post all kind of information, whatever the case may be, whatever my ideas might be, and it'll get some traction. But I'm really not a confrontational person. I think my words and what I believe just off nature it's controversial because what I discuss, I'm to the point, I'm very direct, and I stand on it. I'm not gonna sway. So just by the very nature and what I discuss, it gives people a reaction. But as soon as you give any type of critique or examine our women in a constructive matter, oh man, it's out of the roof. I mean, I didn't even read the comments. It's damn near 1,000 comments, and I'm just not gonna read them. It past so many comments, I'm not even interested, especially when people start insulting, because what am I saying? At the end of the day, there's quite a few things going on with the politics of black women. And one is how you behave and act. How you behave and act. You mean, listen, Nancy Mace asking her if she wanted to go outside, we can address that. But at the end of the day, that's a 47-year-old woman. That is a grown woman up there that you up there talking like you in the beauty shop somewhere. Ooh, child. But the thing is, that character is often used. They love that character and will sit that character up there and will get that character to sell you all sorts of things. And if you critique it, you don't like black women, you hate black women, you hate women, you're not progressive, you don't want to see change in the community by me saying, hey, one, I don't know what you're putting up with. I don't know what you're behind politically, because Nancy makes a good point. Here's another thing. You're lumping civil rights, what was intended for black people to not get a billy club on their head, and saying that that's also a trans right. You're saying that sexuality is involving civil rights. And I vehemently disagree with that. I don't believe that at all. It has nothing to do. What you do in your bedroom has nothing to do with somebody getting a billy club across their face. It just don't happen. I don't understand that. So you're also pushing that, all the while saying ignorant things like we're in the times of the turbulent 60s. Like right now. Are you serious? You really believe in your mind and your mental state. You really believe that we are living in, this is what I'm saying. And this shit goes unchecked. Nobody says anything about it. We just let it rock on. Hey, Democratic Party, when are y'all gonna get some men? When do you go out and say we need male men, manly representation in the party? And somebody that can say, well, I'm a Democrat, but I'm not riding with, we can't even, listen, do you mean to tell me we can't even answer what a woman is? You mean to tell me that we cannot even answer what a woman is? We are stuck. And it's not just, here's the funny part. It's being put behind people that the civil rights was actually intended for. To run this guilt on everybody and say, well, we're all entitled to civil rights. Man, we know exactly what civil rights was for. It was to keep black people from getting a billy club put to their head or water hoses put on them. That's why we had it. That's why we needed it. Civil rights and culture. We have let a white woman and culture get up here and tell us what civil rights was really intended for. Civil rights and anything constitutionally involving others that are not white is to right the wrongs of the past from what was done to black people from white folk. And I'm just gonna be honest. In my personal opinion, that's been done. That's been done. So, I mean, I just don't I don't understand exactly what's happening. I really don't understand how we aren't recognizing this in politics. And this is a black issue. Black people need to recognize this and say, hey, we need to go in a different direction politically, because now we have people just up here saying whatever and saying whatever they want to say, and we just letting it slide. You have some of y'all may know this already. What's the Supreme Court justice, the black woman? Oh man, I forgot her name. When she was asked the same thing, what's a woman? And she couldn't answer that. They're putting this behind people that the civil rights was intended for. And then primarily, it's exclusively black women speaking up. I don't listen. I think that women that were born with vaginas need to have their own space. Like, you can't listen. Say what you want to about Nancy Mace. Say what you want to about Nancy Mace. But she makes a great point. What happens when we remove the protection from women? We have to understand that women are actually the vulnerable people. Appreciate that, Zandal. Hit that like button for me too. I appreciate you and I appreciate your comments. Say that's true. Black people need to stand up. But we can't stand up because we have so much internal issue. Ketanji Jackson gonna get up here when, see, this is what I don't care if I get. Let me tell you what my fight gonna be for our people. One, I'm gonna continue to have the fight for our people through conversation. And yes, black woman, I love you sincerely, but I'm going to continue to critique you because you are the person that we need to reel in so you can work with us again, because you are being used. So every time that I can point out that you're being used and show you how erroneous it is, I'm gonna do that. Ketanji, Supreme Court Justice, what an amazing thing. You can't tell us what a woman is? Do you know how that severely hurts black women? Black women, look at where you are, not how you're marketed. Look at where you are, not how you're marketed. Can I say this again? Black women. Hey, and I'm going to tell you something about that. I'm actually very interested to know more about the South African issues. I could see the alignment between what's going on in South Africa and America. Or I could imagine because of apartheid. You had that going on. Well, remember, here we got, we had segregation and whatever the case may be. But if I'm not mistaken, Miss Lyra, you can probably correct me on this. I think you guys have made strides down there as black people to try to unite politically, get involved, and change the perception of you, this, that, and the third. Same thing that we're trying to do here, but it is a difficult change. Hey, y'all, if y'all just tuning in, hit that like button. If y'all like the conversation, if y'all enjoy the dialogue, feel free to get in the chat, but hit that like button. We want YouTube to recommend this channel so like-minded people like us can get together and continue to have this type of dialogue. Go ahead and throw 50K in the chat. That is representative of the 50,000 subscriber campaign movement we have going on here. But if you really like the conversation, this is typically the type of conversations we be having. Go ahead, hit that like button and stay with us. But you got somebody like Ketanji Jackson who is representing an ideal that is counterproductive to black people. Yes, black woman, you're the most enrolled. Yes, black woman, you're the most enrolled in college. Are you the most educated? Are you completing school at the highest rate? I don't know, but you are the most enrolled. Where you are in the dating space, where you are in the community, I don't know. That needs to be understood. But things that are not going to help you are supporting ideologies that really could erase you and put you out of here. You need protection not only as a woman, but you're a black woman. So you can't even sit up here and say what's a woman or not. Ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And again, all they're using is that sister girl attitude. Ooh, sister girl. That's how they look at us. This is what, hey, say what you want about Michelle Obama. Say what you want to about Michelle Obama. She is professional. Michelle Obama is a professional woman and got the education to back it up. Now, yes, Michelle and Barack, you know they fell into the fugaziness of the Democratic Party. You got to understand this. I'm from Houston, Texas. And I know one thing that, was, I do, at first on my lives, I was going to I try to put the location as Houston or the United States primarily because I know a lot of the issues that I talk about I thought were just, exclusive to here. But when you talk to other black people in other places, you typically see a lot of the same things going on in other countries. So we have an alignment, in the diaspora. I guess that's how I would say it. It's black people. We have different issues going on where we can be aligned. But I'm in Houston, Texas, in the United States. But I see that many of us struggle and have the same type of thing going on around the world. I don't know. Lately on my live, I can't make it exclusive to just where I'm at location wise. I don't know why it's been tripping like that, but maybe that's a good thing because I could talk to everybody else. The U.S. is a nice country for sure. I would like to visit South Africa. One day I'm going to do that. But it's just amazing. It is amazing to me how they have used the character of black women to sell ideology that does not help us, that don't help your people at all. Like, black women are primarily, I've seen them ask black women, what are women? Who's a woman? Do you agree with this? What's a woman? And they can't answer the question. How you can't answer that question? Civil rights isn't just for black people. I technically think it is. And I think if it's not anything that is disruptive of our rights and constitutional rights as black people, everything, what else are we talking about? The alphabet community, you can get married. It's no hate. You can get married. What else do we need to push agenda-wise with that community? Now we done got so far off to where we starting to say who's a man or not, who can be a man, what's a woman and a man. That's crazy. And so now you've been lumped into fighting for that. Say what you want about white women, but the majority of them are fighting for womanhood. Black women, you need to be doing the same thing. But see, you get race baited a lot. Black women get race baited a lot. You get into a situation to where your feelings get caught up in it and you scream racism, which is why you'll get up there in Congress and say crazy things like what we're going through right now is aligned with the turbulent 60s. You know damn well we not living in the turbulent 60s no more. See, black people, here's the issue. Whether you want to admit it or not, the issue is we do not have enough men in our community stepping up and taking leadership roles. Because real strong men are not easily swayed and should not be easily swayed. You should have something that you stand for at the end of the day. And it's going to take us to stand up. Really, I want to see more brothers in politics. My role is I want to be the Black Rush Limbaugh. I want to be a voice in the community that's just talk about all sorts of things, stand on my 10 and get everybody involved in the conversation politically and just get us somewhere. I'm a thought leader. That's my job. My job is to be a thought leader. I would love to raise money. I would love to raise money for a candidate or someone that we can say, hey, let's lift him up into politics. Now, if we found that brother, if that was a Democrat, I would get an A or Republican. It doesn't matter to me. We just need strong men, male voices. That was my other critique of the Democratic Party. My other critique of the Democratic Party is there are not any strong male voices. Because guess what we have going on? We have shit like this now. And this is like my third or fourth time seeing Jasmine Crockett. And it's like every time I see you, you got, hey, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you right now. Why is it that our women feel like they can't be comfortable at their job unless they're talking in a manner like they would at home? Why do our women feel like the only way they can be comfortable, and I'm going to be totally honest with you, if you live in the United States or you're in the United States and you go to all black establishments, you will see that in customer service. You will see that in. Man, somebody's always call. I hate when somebody call me. I hate when somebody call me. If y'all can hear me, throw a 100 in the chat. If y'all can hear me, throw a 100 in the chat and hit that like button for me. I appreciate y'all. Everybody that's tuning in right now, go ahead, hit the like button for me. Because we want YouTube to recommend the channel. We want YouTube to recommend the conversation. So I appreciate everybody tuning in right now. And throw a 100 in the chat if y'all can hear me. I hate when people call me when I'm just cooking. People just always want to call me. It's like they know that I'm on a live and they want to call me. Why do our women feel in order for them to be comfortable, they have to talk like they do at home. Do we understand what professionalism is? And no, professionalism is not talking white. Professionalism is not talking and acting white. That's what you're going to hear a lot of. When I put the clip on TikTok and I was like, hey, I think Jasmine Crockett is unprofessional. What you want her to do? Sound white? No, I want her to speak the language and I want her to state whatever her issues are and answer back and fight back mentally. I want her to mentally respond. I don't want her to emotionally respond. Because this is what y'all have to understand. And this is kind of aligned with how a lot of women think. A lot of women think selfishly. Especially our women, they think selfishly. They're only thinking about the perception of themselves and not the entire community. Don't you know that a lot of people look at our community as acting just like that? That's blackface. They think that when it comes to professional business environments, we're going to sit up there and sister girl and child because they let y'all represent us the most. That's not how we act. Also, it is very embarrassing to be talking about civil rights and you're lumping in other issues that have nothing to do with civil rights. So you just rocking with that democratic ideology because that's who funds you. He who has the goal makes the rules. The other part of this too is when the Civil Rights Act was being supported, it wasn't an all black thing. You had other people getting involved. Whoever put the money behind it is going to tell you how it's going to go. And it wasn't all black people, even though that's who it was intended for. So they just ran everything behind us. You got to understand that. They put everything behind on our backs to walk it through and say what's cool to do and not cool to do. Y'all got to understand that. But why is it that you want to be in spaces that are professional and you want to talk and act the way you want? Why do you like that so much? Ooh, we not, ooh, and just, hey man, listen, bro. I done seen women with weave down to their calf muscles. I done seen women with weave down to their calf muscles. You can't even wear your natural hair. Why don't you want to wear your natural hair? Why don't you want to wear your regular eyelashes? Why don't you want to be yourself? Why do you dislike? Do you know you look so much better without that? I love a natural looking woman. Oh man, no makeup. Listen, this how I know you fine. If you ain't got no makeup on and you ain't got no lashes on and you ain't got no wig on, what you look like? They got this natural look challenge going on right now. I like that. What do you look? Hit a like for me if you like natural. I say hit a like for me if you like natural. Start preaching to y'all. Hit a like button for me if you like a natural looking woman. I know I do. Y'all don't like natural looking women? I love natural looking women. It's just a vibe that I get when I see all that weave and all them braids. Listen, I'm not talking about cornrows, y'all. We understand. You're going to get some cornrows. You might get a little micro braid. Look, I'm hip. I understand what's going on. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But you got so much weave in your head down to it's a distraction. It's a distraction. It ain't gonna feel good saying that. It ain't gonna feel good saying that. But when we have representation in the marketplace or whatever the case may be for our people, and when we're trying to get things done, we want to be taken seriously. And I'm sorry, ghetto aligned things don't help us being that don't nobody take us seriously. Why we can't say that? I'm a coon for that. I don't love my people or I don't love black women because I say that that's coon behavior. Married a black woman, all my kids with a black woman, got black daughters, black children, and all that. But I'm a coon because I think that I don't like her politics and I don't like her being unprofessional. In fact, I did a video on this channel. I think I'm gonna repost it. I did a video one time talking about how we have terrible customer service. Black people have terrible customer service. We have terrible customer service, especially if you're dealing with our women. Why? Because you're gonna be dealing with attitude. You're gonna be dealing with all that sister girl child behavior. You can just act like that. Do you feel as though what I'm saying is racist or hatred? Or is this hate speech? No, it's not hate speech. It's being critical of poor behavior that does not progress us further. Then you get mad when the lady asks you to go outside. Now, I will say this. There's a little bit of white fudging there when they say that they not gonna take away her comments as though she wasn't inciting violence. Hey, let's be real. We know what take it outside mean. We not finna do that. we not finna. Now, we not just finna act like Nancy Mace. But by the way, Nancy Mace graduated from Citadel. First woman to do that. Marine College. Did y'all know that? So she was in an all-male environment and got out of it. She's a tough cookie. I don't know what them hands look like on Jasmine Crockett. Now, most of us, we can get down with the get down. We can fight, especially if you done came up in the inner city. I'm pretty sure she got some hand game. She might have some hand game. But at the end of the day, I will say, Nancy Mace, you're definitely inciting some violence when you say that. None of that is becoming of any Congress person, congressman, congresswoman, representative. I don't think that's not the place for that. But they will come to blows. I mean, it's been historical fact that people will do that in politics. But I've been very critical about the reason why I'm critical about black voices because the black representation is representative of what the community is like, and the community is very matriarchal. And that's not good. That's not good. Look at other communities and other societies that's thriving, and look at where they have a place for their men at. We the only community that we don't have that reference for black men. And then our women are allowed to go up and represent us in such a terrible way. And also exemplify all the things that I find to be perverse and debaucherous in our community. I believe that. But if you say that, it becomes this whole I'm hating, I'm stepping in fetch, I'm not, it becomes all these issues when I say this. And black women, or do you want to hinge all of your fighting power and everything that you could be doing instead of fixing your family? Do you want to go out here and fight for men to have the right to say that they women? Is that what you're getting behind? At the end of the day, these people, have to be reelected. They have people that grease their pockets. This is the truth. This is the case. They have people that grease their pockets. They have people that support them, and so they have to repeat the things that they care about. And that's all it really is. But I don't like it. I don't. This political season has shown me why all these conversations are most important. Because at the end of the day, they have our women speaking up the most, and they have our women being the reflection of our community entirely too much more than black men, and we've got to change that. We definitely have to change that. Men have to step up and be more representative in the community. And we have to say what we want the politics to represent for us. What do we need? What do we want politics to represent for us in our community? I don't like sister girl behavior. I just don't like it. It's very unprofessional. It's very unprofessional. I said this one time, and somebody was just like, "Why do we always critique black people or black women in that way? Or when we talk about the black community having debauchery, why do we just attack us and no one else?" I think other communities do a pretty good job of separating the line. I think we understand where the lower tier parts of other communities exist. Why don't we do that in our community? We understand where the lower tier, we understand what the lower tier of other communities are. We understand that. Why we don't understand that as black people. You know what's very unique to black people? What's very unique to us as black people is that you can be you can be from the ghetto. You can have a ghetto mentality and share that same type of mentality and debaucherous feel spirit with somebody that's corporate in America. You can see somebody, some woman that's in corporate America, educated, she can go out and shake her rump in the club with the ghetto feel, debaucherous feel woman too. They align like that. There is no separation in class in black America. That really doesn't happen. We think it does, but it really doesn't. There is no real separation of class in black America at all. We don't like to break down, okay, we don't want to be a part of that. We don't want that to represent us. I don't want Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B, and all that to represent our women. We don't want natural sisters to represent women. We want BBLs, lashes, wigs, weaves, whatever. We want that to represent us versus natural women, right upstanding women, women who respect their men, women, we called them pick me. Black women was calling women who actually wanted to get with a man and have a man pick me. They did that. Calling these women names just for saying that they want to be with somebody and have a family. We despise real progression. I've said this before that in our community, we really despise real progression. We don't like progressive language or progressive talk in the black community at all. And when I say progressive, I'm not talking about liberalism. I don't mean it like that. I mean progressive in the sense of we don't like to have the conversation of things that we shouldn't be doing. We don't like to say, hey, premarital sex is bad, let's get married. All the shaking of the rump in the club, that's bad, let's move on. Our priorities are just totally jacked up, and it's just evident. We've become so in love with materialism, money, status, all of that we are just ruined as a people. Even politically, we are ruined as a people. Instead of going after real politicians, say what you want about Sheila Jackson Lee, and anybody can say what they want. I have my criticisms of Sheila Jackson Lee, but I think as a black woman in politics, I do want to see that. I want to see Sheila Jackson Lee, Michelle Obama. If you're going to be a politician, that's the archetype. That's what I want to see you doing. I don't want to see you sister girling it. We've made that bullshit so popular, it's ridiculous. We've made that. I don't want to hear from, but what do you expect from a party that wants you to listen to entertainers? What do you expect from a party that wants you to listen to entertainers? It's ridiculous. You want a party, what type of politician would they want to represent the Democratic Party when they think when they thought it was a good idea to spend billions of dollars on entertainment instead of actually going out there and getting some voters? Black women, you need to support women's rights. You are a woman. Do you understand what it is to be a woman? Do you know what that means for you? Do you want a family again? Many of y'all do. Don't you want to raise your children with a husband? Talking about living in your feminine energy and all that. Y'all just catching up to that. Do you know what it's like? Enjoy being a woman. Enjoy your softness and cooking and wanting to be with a man and letting the man take care of things and lead you. That's okay to do that. You ain't got to be the hardest out the lit. The hardest pit out the lit. Know what I'm saying? That ain't for you. So I'm saying it now. Jasmine, that's coon behavior. That's coon behavior. Y'all don't understand what blackface and coon behavior is. And that's it. That is coon behavior. Period, point blank. I don't care what nobody say. It's coon behavior. And I'm really tired of seeing our women be so misused for politics that do not benefit us. I've been saying this for a while, and I think that was the issue. Listen, I don't think everything is sexism. I'm going to say that again. I don't think that everything is sexism, nor do I think everything is racism. I think things come down with planning and capability. What's the capabilities that you have? What are y'all talking about really doing? Are y'all just hinging? So do y'all feel like because y'all been able to manipulate and use women to push these agendas that y'all could get Kamala in? Is that what y'all was thinking? And she could just walk on in and everybody we can guilt the country into voting for somebody because she's a black woman. Which, by the way, this is somebody that I think is black, that I've always said is black, but had trouble answering that question because she didn't want to not appeal to others. Hey, have y'all noticed this too? The Indian people get behind her? The Indian people really embrace her like that? So that should let you know she wasn't Indian. They're letting Indian. That lady ain't Indian. She's a black woman. But she's being used to parade around bullshit. And they hope and pray that we will fall into a guilt. They want to guilt. The Democratic Party wants to guilt their way into your heart. They want to guilt their way into your home. They want to guilt their way through. And they want to get behind civil rights. Again, they want to be all behind the civil rights movement as to why, to get all kind of silly ass agendas in and through. And they gonna do that on the backs of black women who really are just there to entertain. Ooh, sister girl. Ooh, sister child. I despise that. I don't like it. Because I know what it's being used for. I know what it's being used for. But the only time we're going to wake up, the only way we're going to wake up, the only way that we're going to be able to wake up is, again, men have to step up. What's going on, Tekken? The OG Kevin Samuel said that too. Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. That's what they're gonna do every time. It's the same thing. Like I said, when I talked about this lady, Jasmine Crockett, that's all I got. Oh, I support her 100%. What are you supporting? What has this lady done? What has she done in her community? What has she done as a representative to make you be so in love with her outside of doing all the things that you want to do at your job? So you mean you want to go to work and, ooh, sister, girl, child, and wave your hair around and just be unprofessional? That's what you want to do? I'm telling you, I cannot get past anything that she really says because I'm caught up in that. And most of our women act like that. Hey, man, I gotta be a prophet because I have so much immaterial on this channel. And I said this in different spaces so many times. I've been saying this, and things will just come to light. They're examples. Y'all keep growing with me. I'm telling y'all. Y'all gonna hear me say something today that you gonna hear 3, 4 months, 6 months, maybe a year from now, and be like, damn, he was right. He was right. Yeah, because she has to say, Kamala had to say, look, they all got to say that. That's just like when Kamala was like, I'm not going to do something for black people that's not going to help all, that I'm going to do something for black people that's going to help all people. So I can't just do something for black people. No different than you guys, Jasmine Crockett getting up here talking about Well, civil rights don't have nothing to just do um, black people. And then, of course, she talked about the Voters' Right Act of 1965. Well, who the fuck did it have anything to do with? Now, this is a conversation for another day if we really want to get into the civil rights movement and some of the issues it had and people that got behind it and why it's aligned the way it is aligned. But at the end of the day, the Civil Rights Act, the civil rights movement was designed for the progression of black people. It was. Not for trans. Not for if you want to be gay or not. It's not an immigrant thing either. I'm just being honest. It's not. It's not like that. But all you have to do as the modern black woman is, ooh, girl, sister child, ooh, yeah. And you can get a position in the Democratic Party and have a voice. Our women have to look at that. You're being made fun of. You're being made fun of. They're making fun of you when you get up there and do that. They're making fun of our women. And they're making fun of our entire community because that's how they see us. And then you also have to look at this too. You know, I've said this time and time again, but there's so many black men that was raised in that. The reason why, listen, I made this comment about Jasmine Crockett, and on TikTok it just went bananas, right? But I noticed that black men join in with black women to ridicule any critique of black women. I mean, black men getting on their they don't even know what step and fetch is. They just repeating what they hear somebody say. They don't even know what Uncle Tom Sambo, ain't never read the book, just heard somebody talking about it. They don't even understand what my political alignment is to be calling me an Uncle Tom. Let me tell you something. I'm not a, what's his name, Brandon Tatum and all that. Even though I really like what Candace be saying and I like what Tatum say sometimes, I'm a real stumped down black man from the inner city. I'm from South Park in Houston, Texas. Read up on it. The whole DJ Screw from my neighborhood. All that screw, a lot of the influence that people getting from music right now, that started in my neighborhood. The Serve, all that, I'm from that neighborhood. I went to black institutions. I went to the black school, the high school that I went to was made for black people in the neighborhood during the 60s. I'm very much so black. But I can look at our community and our neighborhoods and say, that's wrong, that needs to change. Oh, by the way, I have my father in my household. I grew up with my father. So I know that, okay, this is a matriarch society. I can look at our society and tell that. Y'all can't hear me. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Throw 100 in the chat if you can hear me. Can you hear me now? Nada? Still can't hear me? I don't know why my microphone went out. Can you hear me now? Nothing you? Throw 100 in the chat if you can hear me. I'm good. I appreciate that, you. Yeah, so like at the end of the day, appreciate that. I've been in nothing but black institutions, so I can speak on black institutions. And I feel like where we need to be politically, where we need to go economically, we have to come together, but we have to learn professionalism. We have to gain professionalism. We got to learn how to talk the language, not act white. I'm not saying act white or pretend to be white, but actually be in the system, make it work for us, and infiltrate it. Everybody else has done it except for us. And I think that's been one of the major issues. Everyone else, all other communities have been able to take advantage of what this country has in store in a way that we should have been able to, but we can't because our families are just decimated. The ideology is just decimated. It's crazy on what we think is cool and not cool. It's crazy. But this isn't like hatred towards or jealousy towards women. It's saying, hey, we need black men to step up and get in leadership into politics. Period. Point blank. Period. Point blank. That's just what it is. We need to step up and get into politics and have a voice. And I don't think that our women should primarily represent us because they're not going to get great representation. They're not going to get great representation. They're going to get people that represent what they think everybody want to see about black people. Okay. Do y'all remember Condoleezza Rice? Who were fans of Condoleezza Rice? I think she got all kind of critique, especially from the black community. See, look, when you not up there putting on blackface and ooh child, ooh Lord, and we don't feel like we can identify with you, we don't put you on a pedestal. We gonna say you white aligned and all this other crap. That's what they gonna say. But when you think about Condoleezza Rice, when you think about Michelle Obama, Sheila Jackson Lee, even Maxine Waters had a slight sister girl thing going on, but it wasn't outrageous. She was still able to articulate herself, be professional, this, that, and the third. I don't think we need that modern girl attitude up there in politics. I just don't think we need that. Especially if you represent the wrong thing. Some might say, well, you're not going to get on Nancy Mace. Man, I ain't got nothing to do with Nancy Mace. I agree with what she was talking about because that's what I agree with, but she's not a part of this community. Yes, she's an American. Yes, she has some beliefs that I'm aligned with, but we got the issues that we have as black people is we gotta go back into the clubhouse and talk about it type shit. Okay, all right, Nancy, yeah. Hey, let me pull you to the side, Jasmine. Hey, this is how you need to be handling things. This is how you need to be talking up there. It ain't got nothing to being subservient to anybody white. It's just this how we gonna get the point across. Barbara Jordan. Y'all ever heard of Barbara Jordan? Barbara Jordan, you got people like Barbara Jordan. Who else? This other lady slipped my mind. Barbara Jordan was a great orator. The way she spoke, the way she talked. Why have we lost that in the community? Throw a 100 in the chat if y'all can hear me. I hope my microphone ain't messed up. And if you're just tuning in, man, hit that like button as always. Why don't we have that in the community anymore? We've made this old hip hop ass attitude famous and cool to do in our society, in our community. It's just not. So again, I've been asked, oh well, you ain't say nothing to Nancy, or not that I can say anything to her personally, but I haven't made any critique of her. I don't want to. I don't feel like I got it. First off, she's saying something that the woman that represents us should be saying too. She up there saying that she believes in women's rights. I want to hear black women say that too. I have not heard one. Most of these black women have been in support of the trans movement. Most of these black women have been in support of the trans movement. Why? Y'all don't think it's funny that they have our women fighting for that? They tried to call Michelle Obama a man. I remember that. Y'all don't think it's funny that they got our women really in support of that movement when you can't afford to lose your man at all? You can't afford to lose your man. You can't afford to lose your man. You cannot afford to have any of those ideologies placed on your man. At all. You can't afford that. So it's just crazy that they have put y'all in alignment. They put y'all in alignment with that ideology. I just see again, there is no, hey, there's not going to be any, I don't think that you will see the Democratic Party back on stage for another 12 years. You're just not going to see it. It's about to be red, 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 red. Especially as masculinity steps up more. Because in our community, we need that to take place too. The only toxic form of masculinity is the absence of it. It ain't no masculinity in our community. You know, then you got, I don't know who the brother was up there that once they had the little spat, he was, oh, we can't incite violence, you know, the rules and there's decorum. You know, they do have that. But man, goddamn. You know, all that sister girl child to pull her to the side. Hey, sister, come here. You're a smart lady. I like how you operate. But sometimes that's a bit too much. You need to know how to relax. I bet you if I went up on her and did that, don't tell me how to talk. Don't tell me what to say. That's what you're going to get out of her. Don't tell me how to talk and what I need to be saying. What does that get us? All that acting and all that crying and crashing out. What the fuck does that get us at the end of the day? Tell me. Tell me what does that get us? All that crashing out. We saw our people crash out during this election. What did that get us? I'm talking about losing our damn mind online. What did that get us? And then you got the heaviest critique again from our women. It showed me everything I needed to see. When you have 80% of women, you got damn near 90%, probably 90% of the women, 80% of the men, whatever the case may be, voting for Kamala and crashing out when she lost. And bad politics. And all we heard was how racist and how bad everybody is. Just a bunch of temper tantrum ass shit. That's what you're seeing. So I think the only way you move forward, the only way you correct this moving forward is you got to get more men, black men, politically informed, take the house back, take the family back, take politics back, take the community back, and say, hey, we're speaking now. We're speaking now. Hey, Aunt your mama attitude, behavior, and shit, that shit got to go. We're not doing that no more. You can't just come up here and say how you act, how you want to act. And you need to be able to tell me what a woman is and what a man is. We know what a woman. We know what a woman is. Was you born with an opening down there? You're a woman. Are you born with a pole? Is it closed? You're a man. That's easy. I don't care what you think you are. This is what you are. We don't need any more delusion in society. We don't need any more delusion in society. Man, you got people, we talked about this on The Greatest American. You got people that's falling in love with chatbots. You got young boys falling in love with chatbots, bro. AI, artificial intelligence. We don't need any more perverse, lusty spirits on earth. We gotta really pray against. We gotta pray against that and get away from that. But it's gonna be wild in America. It's gonna be wild in the country, in the world. The more that we allow lust, perversion, debauchery to go on by this business, the less that we talk about marriage, the less that we talk about getting a family together. You finna see all kind of stuff going on. You better be saying, hey, a lot of times, if you look into these women's history too, they are single, they do not have any kids, they are not married, and there you go. And now you're making a decision for the community based off your selfish ideas. They don't got no kids. They ain't got no marriages. Then how they gonna be happy for the community? How they want the community, and they don't have things within their personal life that's gonna make the community strong. Families make the community strong. Families make the community strong. Do y'all understand that? But you have these politicians, they don't have these women, no husband, no kids. And so, of course, they gonna have it. Just look at look at their history. Look at what's going on with them. So they're not going to be saying anything that is conducive to a strong community. We have to address this. We have to continue to address this as a people. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk about it. I don't care if somebody says I'm stepping and fetching and all this other bullshit. And, I'm just I'm a clout chaser. I'm not a clout chaser by critiquing something that I think is a bad representation of not only black people, but black women. Ooh, child. Nobody takes us serious. Nobody takes us serious. You know how you know nobody takes us serious? Because they have other races of people that get up there and act like that and blow up on TikTok and YouTube acting like that. Taking how you act. The worst part of our community, they take that, act like that, and blow up. Now you got women walking around with their butts out, showing their butts, twerking, making videos talking like they ghetto. Y'all think that's cool? They took the part about us that they make fun of. This is what we don't understand. They take the part about us that they make fun of and they go get famous off of it. Cause it's a goddamn joke. That's why. Cause it's a goddamn joke. And we up here defending that. We defend that behavior over and over again. It's just like when I said something one day about bonnets. Going outside with your bonnet on and your pajamas. You got women defending that shit. Why you coming? You gonna purposefully come out here with a bonnet on? It's nightwear. I associate women who go out in public with bonnets on and housewear as hood rats and ghetto. Why? Because growing up in the ghetto, we see that. We see that. When you go into the washateria, she got pajamas on and a bonnet on. You go to the corner store, she got pajamas on and a bonnet on. You go up to the goddamn Popeye, she got pajamas on and a bonnet on. And you want to be able to be outside with your bonnet on, with your pajamas on, and you want to carry that same type of behavior and attitude to your job, to your workplace. You want to have that same attitude in your workplace? That's what you want to do? And you think that it's going to be acceptable. You got to understand that all of that comes from a ghetto mentality. Who does that? So when you make that critique of our people without us influencing the world like that, you ain't seeing no white woman go outside her damn house with a bonnet on and some pajamas to the goddamn grocery store. You ain't seeing Maria go outside and do that shit. If they're doing it, they are acting like you, and it makes them popular because we made it cool to have debauchery. No different than we made it cool to just be at work talking like how you want to talk. You can't be at work talking like how you want to talk and saying what you want to say. You at work. So you think you can go to your job and dress how you want to dress and talk how you want to talk at your job. It makes you comfortable to just speak and act and dress the way you want to anywhere. That's what you think is cool? And we've just allowed it and applauded it and praised it. And we have made that become the display and representation of us. We've made that be the representation of our people. But it's mainly the representation of our people because primarily who is representing us, who has been allowed to represent us, who have we all got behind because we've been programmed to think that they need to speak for us in our community. They've made it lopsided and made it to where our women have to carry all the pressure. We think that that's cool, and it's not. I don't know, man. I think I'm gonna be talking about this more. Now, the next thing I'm gonna get on, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this live on Sunday. I'm thinking that I'm gonna go Monday because Monday is gonna be very cold in Houston. Ain't nobody gonna be going nowhere. Probably gonna be off the whole day. I'm thinking I'm gonna, instead of doing something on Sunday, I'm gonna do it on Monday. I'm gonna talk about this pop the balloon thing that happened with this brother that popped his sister balloon. 38 had who's 38 had a kid and had never been married. So I think I'm gonna get on that on Monday. But y'all, hey man, y'all go ahead and run this back. Tell me what y'all think. Get in the comments. Am I tripping?